Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari, and my guest this morning is Evans Ufeli, a lawyer and social commentator. Thanks you, as always, for coming on, Evans. We've been talking about, organizing ourselves, all this week. That's the way it's been. Corruption invariably factors into it. Now, another aspect of it that caught our eye this morning is a headline saying that the EFCC is actually seeking a law to criminalize project abandonment. Now, that's dare I say it, a pretty common feature here. EFCC said that as far as Niger Delta is concerned, there's as high a rate as up to 90% project failure, or is it abandonment? And so the time has come to criminalize it. Well, alongside, when you look at this, Oshibajo, the vice president, is blaming the previous, party in power, PDP, for failing to invest in infrastructure. And then alongside it, we also have this situation where EFCC is saying the rate of abandonment of projects, it's just not on. Tell me, give me your thoughts on this. Criminalize it for it to become a criminal offense for which you might go to jail?
Yeah, I think this is long overdue. The reason EFCC is doing that is because all through their investigation, when they investigate governors, past governors, when they investigate contractors, there is this nexus where perhaps a governor will say the certain funds that is meant for social project was released, and then the contractor on their own part have not been able to carry out the project. Okay, and as our law stands now, you can't call that thief, and you cannot call that a crime in the real sense of it. So asking for a law, okay, to make it a crime, because for you to punish, for you to prosecute an offender, you must prosecute or punish an offender based on a written law. And then punishment for the same law stated in the law. Whatever is not stated as an offense in law cannot be an offense. So EFCC have seen the need, and this is very important. It is perhaps the reason why democracy is not working in Nigeria. It's not wholly and awesomely because of the leaders. It is also because of the people. Then the contractors, those who oversee the contractors, the quality control engineers, these guys are complicit when it comes to public projects, government projects. You understand? So I don't think EFCC is saying the right thing. They are up because they have gone through a lot of cases and they have seen the need that if we hold this particular person, this person will say, I release money for the project. Then when we get to the person who actually is in charge of the project, we want to know why he has not been able to, complete the project, why he has abandoned the project. And if he has abandoned the project, should he go scot-free?
Exactly.
That is one very important issue. So that is why they are seeking that this must be criminalized. And it's important.
Because the way business has been sort of carrying on, there's a sense in which one could say there's been so much paddy aspect to it that, look, at the very worst, it might be sloppy business practices, not a criminal offense. And I like the word you use about complicity, because some of these, well, not some, most of these projects also have inspection junctions where officials or whoever is responsible, they come in. Look, if you're complicit, where you should have blown the whistle, you won't blow the whistle.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. And I know that there are different projects going on, but if it just seems strange that until I saw this, it occurred to me that, look, so much, and then the statistic, I was blown away by the statistic that it says that over in the Niger Delta, close to 90% of contracts could be said to have been abandoned. Imagine the money that's been lost there. And this links us perhaps to a subject we discussed, was it yesterday, I think? Yeah, that was the whole matter of democracy. You said something about our democracy.
Yes.
And the president caused something of a mild furore when he said that, you know what, democracy is going to be subject to national interest as far as I'm concerned. Lawyers have different, takes on that. But this is coming back to the same thing, isn't it? Almost.
Yes, it is, because if you look at our laws, the Public Procurement Act, that we have only regulates what you need to do, the level of compliance before a contract is awarded.
Yes.
Which is open bidding, contractors bid, okay, when a contractor finally emerges as the right person to take on the project, the law stops its regulation there. So whether he completes the project or not is not extended by the law. So EFCC wants perhaps another legislation that will be anchored on the Public Procurement Act, so that it will not just be that we comply with lay down procedures in procurement of material and all that. There should also be compliance as to finishing the project as at when stipulated by the contract terms and agreements.
You know, why I was interested in this is that keeping my ear to the ground, all those people that are involved with contracts, you know, as professionals, you know, it's not a straightforward, at least I can't say I've been involved, but at least it's the common talk around, you know, let's just say pepper soup joints, to give it, to water it down properly. But all these projects, all these contracts, look, it's not just about materials and procuring and building. There are so many settlement points all over the place,
yes,
where people have to settle and or do the right thing.
Yes.
Now, when you have all these tentacles going out of any given project, how are you going to come back and criminalize has been the former stance?
Yes.
How are you going to come back and sanction somebody and say, no, this work is not acceptable. No, this work is not going at pace. You can't do that.
No, the same law should dislodge those settlement joints. You know, that is why legislation is important. The same law should, you know, dislodge those joints, because I know what you're talking about. There are a lot of issues of kickback.
Thank you. Convention that's been going on from time Imo River.
No,
you know how people don't want to change.
Yeah, you use legislation to regulate human conduct. That's the essence of regulation. You know why I'm saying this? You see, in 1996, I went to write JAMB somewhere.
Okay.
I had to go through the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In 1996, that road was under construction. As I speak to you today,
it is still being constructed.
The road is under construction. 5 years later,
how can that be?
The road is under construction.
Yes.
You see, that is a failure of democracy, because we don't have a proper legislation that will criminalize such kind of activities. As you said, these joints you talked about, settle community, settle contractor, settle the politician, give kickback to every other person, and at the end of the day, perhaps the contractor will even want to have a justification for not finishing the project.
Exactly.
They may say the money has gone to different direction, and what is left can no longer finish. That can be an excuse.
The project.
So that is why the legislation in question should take care of the issue of all these kickback, all these issues and all that, so that you can have proper and robust law that will regulate that, so that the contractors will know firsthand. And then the punishment for failure to complete a project for which you have been assigned to should be grievous. Just like you have it in China. It could be death sentence, it could be life imprisonment. If you make it capital. No, if you make it capital punishment. You understand? You know, because this is a proposal, and then the National Assembly will begin to look into it. And then you can even have individuals sponsor bills to that effect. That, I mean, this is a problem to our democracy. Okay? So we should begin to look at that. Government, if government want to be effective, you understand, they must, because we have infrastructural decay in Nigeria. So the only way we can make that right is now to devise legislations, make laws to cater for everything that has to do with infrastructural development.
And then the legal system, the judicial system, also probably being on board with the whole notion, the whole idea, because it has been, one of the concerns has been that, look, the law is the law. Yes. Everybody's, you know, says rule of law and all of that. And yeah, we can't have a society without rule of law, but it must mean different things to different people. You can't come and bring is one school of thought. Rule of law as it exists in X, Y, or Z, maybe Switzerland, maybe UK, maybe US, and come and import it lock, stock, and barrel and base everything on that. There are those who say that, look, you know, you've got to think global and act local.
Yes.
Yes, we identify, we think globally, we know all the merits of rule of law, but we've got to act locally and know that there is a way our people are. Why is it that our people at home will drive against traffic given half a chance?
Yes.
But we'll never dare that. These same people, if they happen to be in Sweden, for example. So I just don't know what's going on. It suggests to me that, you know, the way this thing is going, Evans, what I'm just thinking is that if all goes well with the ruling party, and indeed they are re-elected, but that depends on the electorate, the second time is going to be a bit bloodier.
In terms of?
In terms of, I'm just hearing Surulere. Ude in Surulere, good morning.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good morning.
Well, morning.
Please go on, sir. Did you want to comment?
Yori and the guest in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Ude. Ide, I beg your pardon. Ide, good morning.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
I will say that your guest is a lawyer. He doesn't know why we have abandoned projects in Nigeria. Yeah.
Maybe you can help us out.
He doesn't know why we have abandoned projects in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's why you phoned in, to help us out, right? Tell us.
Is that government award a road project for 20 billion, and in that year they make allocation of 5 billion, and the next year you make another allocation of 2 billion. If you have the money for a project, then the people supervising the project can set a time frame to finish the project. But when you award a contract of 100 billion and you are making an allocation of 10 billion per annum, then you are going to have another 10 years to complete a 100 billion project. We should not start a project if we don't have the money for the project. Look at the Lagos-Badagry Express Road, started in 2012. Up till now, go there, still at Aboju there, because you haven't got the money to complete the project. Look at the second Niger bridge. You are doing a 200 billion bridge. You are arguing this year you made an allocation of 5 billion in the budget. So how many years are you going to make 5 billion allocation to complete the bridge?
I wanted to find out from you, are you speaking Ide as, well, you've just told us you're an engineer. I was going to say, so you're involved, you know what this takes. But I suspect what...
I'm listening to you.
Yes. I wanted to ask if you're a contractor, but you helped out by saying you're an engineer and, you know, you're probably connected with these things, so you know. So I know now where what your source of authority is. But I think we're talking here about having been mobilized and then absconding, you know. I think that is the kind of thing that we're talking about now. Whereas I take what you've just said, but that one where people are mobilized, do whatever tertiary they can do, and then disappear. That project is abandoned. How about that?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you award a project of 50 billion, for example, and you pay the contract of 5 billion, and you resolve the 5 billion, and they are asked to wait for the next year budgetary allocation before they get additional money, they're going to have stopped on site because there's no money to do anything on site.
All right.
I am saying, if you want to start a project of 50 billion, you need to, if the time frame is 3 years, make sure you provide the money within the 3 years budget to be able to complete the project.
Okay.
So that you start the project in full fair and you start making 2 billion allocation, 3 billion allocation, and they'll just share the money and go away.
I get you.
What I'm saying. And if the FCC want to criminalize that,
yes,
they should come up with a bill and send to the National Assembly, not on the pages of newspaper.
No.
Pages of newspaper.
It's not pages of newspaper.
It's full of lawyers.
Okay.
Draft a bill and send it to the National Assembly.
All right.
Under the executive. They should stop all these media bills because it doesn't change anything.
Okay, but do you have any problem with criminalizing defaulting contractors who don't have any cause to default?
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. There's a time lag.
Yeah.
Well, he's a player. At least he's an engineer. And so he says he knows what it takes.
Yeah.
And you heard his reasons.
He just stated one of the factors. One of the factors.
One of the
He shouldn't have shot the discourse by saying you don't know what they're saying. It's unnecessary.
No, exactly.
He should have just said, okay, there's another factor, an angle to it.
Well,
and then draw that angle.
Everybody has their own style of presentation, and we take all sorts here. The man said he's a lawyer. He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. Okay, you help us now. Help us out. And then what he's saying is that. But what he said, forget how he said it, but just look at the content of what he said.
Yeah, what he said is true, because sometimes the government don't release the funds as at when due. They don't release the fund to enable the contractors do the work effectively. That is granted. I mean, we understand that. But there are instances.
Only a madman will go ahead in the face of those facts and criminalize and say this also qualifies for criminalization. So some cases sort of sort themselves out, I would have thought.
Yes.
I am on site. I'm not going anywhere. I'm ready to continue. I need the funds as agreed, as stated, as laid out. I think that's a totally different. Sometimes people take all these things and take their own particular feather out of it. When Executive Order 6 came around, everybody was saying what they wanted to say, but the Minister of Information sat where you're sitting and said that, as a matter of fact, it affects only certain sums.
Yeah.
If the figure doesn't reach a certain sum, it doesn't qualify. It's not every month. So you see, this is that kind of a thing again where, because it's a bit different from what we've been used to, people are going to resist the change.
Yeah, let me also help the last caller. You see, if you have a contract as a contractor and you have contract agreement.
The parameters, okay.
And you know that in the contract agreement, they say they are going to release a certain amount. If you know you can't do the job based on the contract, then you recline. It's not for you to take it and then come up with the excuse that government have no budget and budget.
But Engineer Ide says that's the thing with lawyers. They don't know what we and the field there are going through. That's the way he's putting it.
If you have an agreement, you need to...
But it's only, exactly. So it takes a legal sort of mind, no matter, to understand agreements. Agreements are what they are. And, well, when he comes up and says it like that, it's important. It's important, as you have said, but I don't think situations such as he described will be there, because it is where people abscond with money.
With money meant for projects.
That has been meant for projects. I guess this is what. And then another point he brought up is that EFCC, if they're serious, should stop talking on the pages of newspaper. Well, EFCC was not talking on the pages of newspaper. EFCC is telling us what its recommendation is, what it feels is a step in the direction that we all need to go if we're going to be fighting this whole corruption thing, and that we're seeking legislation.
Yes.
So what we're doing is we're airing that subject, say, wait a minute, you could actually be a criminal. Your action could be a criminal action if you do what everybody in contract seems to be doing. I know that's an exaggeration. Abscond. I mean, how can they give us the figure that in the Niger Delta, up to 90% contracts are thought to have been abandoned? I'm still trying to get my mind around that.
We don't even need that figure. We see the projects all over the place. I mean, it's a daily thing.
Okay. Moreni Keji in Ogba, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, Absolute of Nigeria.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling.
Uncle Yori, yes, Uncle Yori, let me, for the first time, I want to help the lawyer in that.
Okay, are you a contractor as well?
Well, yes.
Okay, so you know what's involved. Okay.
Yes. Let me also contradict a little bit concerning the last caller. You see, Uncle Yori, this is the way it works. Now, we are given a job of $1 billion, for example. Now, you know the job is $1 billion. Now, the job is going to take 3 years for you to execute. You know that already. And your employer says, okay, I'll give you 500 million. Now, you know the level at which the 500 million will take you. In that 500 million, you have your profit embedded in that same 500 million. So you know where you get already. So there's no need of saying, oh, they're giving them 1 million today, 10 million tomorrow. That's not the point. The point is you have your plan. You've done feasibility studies. For example, you know the job will take you for a week, and the contractor said, okay, I'll give you the money twice for this job. You know that it will take you 7 working days. So if the money given to you, including your profit, will take you 5 days, do the job for 5 days. Wait for your balance. Not that you do the job for 1 day because they are still waiting for your balance. That's what we have in Nigeria. That's what we have in Nigeria. For example, you are given the job to construct a house. On theory, nobody will give you 100% upfront. Someone will give me probably 50% or 60%.
Okay.
Now, based on your visibility study, based on your plan, based on the materials and all you need, on theory, for all ramifications, you are sure that 50% out of the 60% you are paid will get that job to at least minimum 80% conclusion.
All right.
But here in Nigeria, because of interest of individuals and parastatals, people that will sign and all of that, and they will just say, okay, let me cast your mind back to what happened in Abuja. Before El-Rufai became minister, we all know what was going on with Julius Berger. Sorry to call names. But as soon as El-Rufai came on board, what happened? The project that Julius Berger was supposed to have done, were they not doing it when El-Rufai came on board? Have they not been paid? So where did they get the money from? Did El-Rufai pay them to do those jobs? No. But he enforced his authority and they were able to do the job. So that's what we're saying. So it's not about government paying or government is not paying. You know before you got the job of that you are doing, you know the criteria that pertain to your job. You know what you're supposed to do. So there's no excuse for that. You're a contractor, you've agreed to do the job. Case closed. Thank you, God bless you.
But Morenike, just before you go, so what do you think about the EFC's idea? Oh, he's gone. I just wanted to ask him that, how did he see the whole notion of EFCC seeking to criminalize? Because it isn't in existence yet.
Yes.
But it is saying that it's an idea whose time has come according to their investigations. You know what? I've got to take a break now. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and continuing with Evans Ufeli, lawyer, social commentator, but now joined by yet another lawyer, Libros Oshoma, a public affairs analyst, and we've heard from one slightly irritated caller that what do lawyers know about these matters? And, but, in spite of that, he did give us his background to his position. And, so thank you very, very much to Ude and Morenike who have spoken so far on this. And those are players in the field. They know what it's about. Libros, we were talking and you were telling me that you were in EFCC as recently as yesterday. On matters like this. Yes. Tell us about that, and what do you think about the whole notion of EFCC seeking legislation to criminalize abandonment of projects?
Fantastic. Because, it's always, there's this irritation, I've heard views by people, why is it that it's only lawyers? And so I understand when they say, what do lawyers know about these things? But at the end of the day, when these matters get to court, when they get to EFCC, it is lawyers that you call to argue on both sides. But it's a fantastic step by EFCC. At least that will also help us strengthen our procurement processes.
And we need to say, because Ude brought that point up, that it's not on the pages of newspaper. You go to the National Assembly, which is exactly the way the EFCC intends to proceed.
Because first and foremost, they need to sensitize. It's a news item.
Yes.
And so if any move by EFCC would make headlines, especially as regards the fight against corruption. And so EFCC didn't just wake up to say we need to seek legislation to criminalize this, because also they have investigated matters, and in the course of investigation, they run into murky waters. When certain projects are abandoned, like the one I said I was with them for yesterday, you find out that from the procurement processes, they are supposed to be bidding processes, and then, selection of bidders, and at the end of the evaluation processes, and then eventually the contracts are awarded, and mobilization. But you find out that because of this notion of man, no man,
kickbacks,
man, no man. The bidding process is circumvented. And then there is kickback. And so the man who gave 50% of, mobilization that was given to him, that was the same point we were discussing yesterday in EFCC. At the end of the day, the man feels, so look, I know I can't do this job, and the people that gave me the job know I can't do it for this amount. And so they've collected 50%. And he goes home to sleep. And after some time, he asks for re-evaluation. And then they say, oh, there's no money. He says, well, what you have paid for, we have started the job, but we can't go further than this. And then because there is no law to criminalize what he has done, he abandons the job.
And that's the point that Evans made at the beginning.
He
that is not written down as a crime.
Exactly. He abandons the job and then blame procurement processes and the fact that funds were not released. But meanwhile, the fund that was given to him, like Morenike was saying, ought to have taken it to a certain level.
The man
before,
said oftentimes it can go as far as 80%.
Yes, and then a certificate. No, first they released 15%. And then
he was talking about the progress of the project.
Yes, and then at that level, once that you get to that level, a certificate of completion is issued. And then once that certificate is issued, after inspection, that they are satisfied with this level, and then another fund is released to you. You need 80% to finish the job before you are paid the last 20 or 15% or 10% as the case may be. But in some cases, you find out that the man collects 80%, the job is at 40% completion. And then he goes home. Another government will come, they start to rebudget funds for that project. The contractor that abandoned that project, who collected money, public funds, is nowhere to be found. In some cases, he's re-awarded the job to start afresh again. And so, if as a serious society, we need to sit back, not just complete from where it was stopped, to ask what led to the stoppage of this project. How do we ensure that those people, Oshomole did it in Edo State, he came on board and he started going around projects. And so contractors that were awarded contracts that didn't complete them, they found a way of prosecuting them for misappropriation of public funds.
Okay.
For misappropriation of public funds. And so, but now EFCC, because you find out that some of these processes, you now try to look for a law that will particularly suit your purpose. So what the EFCC is trying to do is to find a way of saying, look, once you abandon this project, you are going to go in for it. So the moment money is released to you and you are sharing profits, you should know that whatever you give, what is remaining should be able to do the job that you're given to do. Because if at the end of the day, you will be the primary suspect, and then any other person that you shared money to probably will be the secondary suspect. And I see no reason why somebody should be angry over the fact that a job is abandoned, even though you have collected money, you shared the money, you gave kickback, and so you're not happy that government is asking you to come account for the funds that you were given.
Now, what all of this will do if EFCC succeeds in, getting such legislation that it is pushing for, it would change the whole notion of how we in Nigeria go about contracts, because a kickback is taken for granted. It doesn't matter where the contract is, whether it is in an office somewhere, whether it is in a local government, whether it's a contract is awarded and people are going to get their own parts of it. I wasn't there, but it's sort of taken for granted that this is what goes on. So the full value is actually not coming onto that project that belongs to all of us. There are still some guys who are cornering aspects, sometimes cornering the efficient delivery of the project. But as you said, everybody goes home. So it would be remarkable if it can be achieved, and then two, if it can be enforced, which I think is the bane that we have sometimes, Evans.
Yeah, it should
be. They say the problem with Nigeria is not so much that the laws or the regulations, is the implementation.
The law should not just be meant for the contractor only. It should regulate all the processes around procurement.
Yes, there will be many people involved.
Yes. So all those persons who have the tendencies, who are susceptible to wanting to get kickback and all that, that is why we have law. okay, as a form of social reengineering.
No, but if you're not ready to pay kickback, you're not getting the job. Oh.
So we're now saying a law should prohibit that as well.
Oh, okay.
Criminalize kickback.
Of course. I'm guessing that it will follow naturally.
Yes, so,
but let me quickly take Kunle in Ikeja so I don't miss his contribution. Good morning, Kunle.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling
Good
in.
morning to the panelists in the house.
Sure.
Good morning.
God bless you. Well, I think the law is a very good one. You know.
It's a proposal by EFCC.
Yes. If it is passed by the National Assembly, it is a very good one. That is if it is passed by the National Assembly, because I doubt if this National Assembly is going to pass such a law. You know, I know for a fact, though, that even if the law is passed, our lawyers in Nigeria, who have always been in the habit of benefiting maximally from corrupt acts like this,
Two of which are sitting in front of me. I don't know how fair it is.
What kind of way of circumventing this law?
Okay.
We have known what happens in Nigeria. It's not we don't have the depth of laws in Nigeria. We have very beautiful laws. Yes, because
Kunle, I'm afraid the line has gone bad, Kunle. I'm so sorry. Kunle, if you can hear me, the line went bad and it started getting staccato, so we couldn't really hear. But I think I did hear that one of your concerns was that lawyers, and everybody seems to use lawyers as the whipping boy, lawyers can dismantle anything given enough time and expertise. And so your fear is that the lawyers, will they play ball?
You see, we are here now, and none of us has said that that is not a good law. But you see, as a law to re-engineer the society and then find a way, a path for the society, you also need, in drafting that law, you also need to look at the inherent, murky waters that you might run into, and find a way of...
But the only murky water, I'm sorry for being too simplistic, is that a 1 million naira contract, for example, you've got to take 250,000 naira off and give it to the guy who gave it to you, or the guy who is the PA, or the secretary, or
it's not that simple.
It's not. I said I was being simplistic. I said I was being simplistic.
In most cases, you find that the loopholes that we have in the law is the fact that that man is presumed innocent. So the onus of proving is on you, who is asserting that funds were mismanaged.
Yes.
Or that he abandoned the project. All you need to establish now is the fact that money was mobilized, and the money was to take that project to a certain level. And then also, you now need to look at the other statute books to find out, is there any law that is also contradictory to the provisions of this law? If there is none, no matter how sharp a defense lawyer is, don't they have lawyers in the UK, in America, where some of these are offenses? They have lawyers there, but prosecution starts from investigation. And like we are taught in law school, in investigation, you must cross your T's and dot your I's, because the Constitution presumes that man innocent. So it's like you're walking, it's an uphill task.
I know.
So since it's an uphill task, don't give room for wishy-washy.
I hear you.
But here, we employ lay people as prosecutor, and then they are to confront people whose job it is to defend cases such as this every day.
There you go.
So we need to look at it from that point of view.
And what you're saying has sort of reminded me of the president's utterance that rule of law will be subject to, national security.
Disagree.
I know. I was just looking at all this uphill taskness where you come and prove that I stole it. Come and prove it. That kind of a thing. So, but Mr. George, thank you very much for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to everybody there.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, in my view, I doubt if EFCC actually needs a separate law to execute this their proposal.
To criminalize project abandonment.
Every contract that is that is awarded has a contract agreement. And that contract agreement specifies the period the contract is to be completed, the amount that will be given. If a contractor is awarded a contract, and within that period of completion, he did not complete it, and there's evidence to show that the money has been paid to him, what other law do we need to prosecute both the person that awarded the contract and the contractor for stealing public money? I don't think they need any other law for it.
Okay.
Maybe they just want to be on the safe side.
Okay.
Don't mind the contractors who are calling you to justify the stealing. What happens, Uncle Yori, is that both the quantity surveyor, the architects, all the engineers involved in the project, they all connived to bloat the amount. I was a member of a major contract tenders board when I was in public service. And this was what made them to drive me away from that contract board. Because what they do is to connive right from the beginning of the contract. A contract that is supposed to be 1 million, they will all connive to bloat it up to 5 or 10 million. And when there is a dissenting voice, they find a way to send that one out. And at the end of the day, that 10 million also would be paid, and yet the contract is not awarded.
Yeah.
I can tell you that even if this law is proposed, the type of National Assembly we have now will not pass that law. For example, the fictitious constituency project that is illegal, which they have been taking, they will be. How would they pass a law that will force them to account for that money? Construction of projects is not the same thing. It has nothing to do with lawmaking.
Okay.
That in the first place makes them guilty. They won't pass such a law. If I were the EFCC, they should just concentrate on stealing of public funds through contract award, and from there they can get them convicted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Can I respond
Yes,
to him?
please.
Yeah.
Comment on
As
that.
regards what is said, that every project, every contract have a contract agreement. If EFCC does not criminalize it, at the level of contract agreement,
it's a commercial transaction.
civil.
I was
It's
going
a
to
civil
ask you that
transaction,
point.
and the only thing that government will be asking them is for specific performance,
To
and then
complete it.
and then to complete it, and which is just,
That's specific
which is not criminal. But when you now have
contract.
a separate
you
legislation,
don't usually go to jail for that.
when you, no, you don't. You just pay damages, or
Exactly.
you complete it.
And you carry on your
the court
merry
will
way.
make an order and a judgment and order. But if you look at it in this case now, where you don't have a separate legislation, you need something like that, which could become a penal law. You understand? To that effect, so that it will become criminal. Then the punishment, you make it capital. If you are serious, if you want to drive process, yes, that's it.
Capital is death sentence.
No, not just death sentence. It
Okay.
could be life imprisonment. It could be capital punishment are ranging.
Oh, okay.
Not
Okay.
all that's
Okay.
death sentence. You know, so that is what is required here. Not that there is because you have a contractual agreement already.
But
that
the point
suffice.
Mr. George makes that you could be more vigorous with the EFCC could possibly be much more vigorous with the existing laws.
I would tell Mr. George that yesterday I spent more than 5 hours in EFCC. EFCC trying to unravel contract award process. Even the Bureau of Public Procurement, I'm on international TV, it's not helping matters. Bureau of Public Procurement was set up to check contract award processes from the government parastatals. All government public bidding would go to the Bureau for certificate of no objection. The Bureau are supposed to evaluate what the tender board, the ministerial tender board had done. But you find out that at the end of the day, the Bureau just rubber stamps what the ministerial tender board had done.
That was not the intention in
That
setting the board
that
up.
wasn't the intention. And so once this happens, you find out that there is a connivance somewhere. And at the end of the day, the government suffers because the executive can't be everywhere at the same time.
Would there be definite definite laws criminalizing abandonment sort all of these matters out in your expert opinion?
Yes.
Okay.
That's that's in my view.
Yeah.
I think what EFCC is trying to request for. And also, let's not have this notion that, oh, the National Assembly we have won't do it.
Yeah.
The National Assembly we have won't do it. And so at the end of the day, we go to sleep.
Well, it has been recalcitrant a bit.
Even if you say the National Assembly won't do it, our voices, they say raise your voice and the people listen.
Okay. Yakub Ndokwemu, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Shibiori. Good morning to
Alaji Yakub.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I think I really respect the opinion of Mr. Oshomo, but Shibiori, I think this law is very, very good. Why am I saying that?
It doesn't exist as a law yet.
Yes, I'm trying to say
if they can achieve it.
If the law comes to pass.
Yes.
But I'm afraid, as the last caller rightly said, it's not going to be passed by this National Assembly, as the last caller rightly said. Why am I saying that? Chief Jori, since 1999, I've been heard that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have been awarded, every government come to play, we award that very particular road. Up to this moment, they are still on that road, not even completed up to this moment. And then the money was budgeted for that road. I'm talking about Lagos-Ibadan. Still yet, it is not yet fully completed. Who are those people collecting those money since 1999? If this code law comes to pass, it will be very, very good for the ordinary Nigerian citizens to know who are those thieves that collecting money in the name of big procurement and do the budget and all that. And then they fail to do the road. That is number one. Number two, why am I saying that this National Assembly are not going to pass the law is that I listened to one of the people of National Assembly. He said they asked him a question on this station that how much are you taking home as your running cost? The man says that I cannot tell you. The man was investigated by what is it called? The firewall. And then he says that I can't tell you how much my running cost is. If the National Assembly as a representative cannot tell the ordinary Nigerian citizens that voted you in it to go and represent them, how much is your running cost? You cannot tell us your running cost. And then it's the same people. You can imagine some of them are former governors. They have companies that is doing all this road. They have the contractor, they have all this. And then those are the people get those contracts. And then if the law can be able to go after them, I think it's going to be very good. But they will never pass that kind of law. Or else Nigerian citizens and then civil society organizations come to play and then be shouting on it.
All right.
They can pass it. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, thank you. But as you said, the National Assembly won't be the same way forever.
Now that we know that the National Assembly can't pass it, that's where we should start from.
Exactly.
We have all agreed it's a good law.
It's a good law.
It's needed.
But there will be people bucking against it.
Exactly. So now that we know that, okay, we have identified the people that will oppose this law. So let's start from there.
Yeah.
Let's start from there. I insist these people are representing us. And so we start from their various constituencies, from their constituency offices, begin to file petitions.
Because
and then,
But do you think that, you see, one of the other aspects of this is that I know that there are efforts to mitigate that particular effect, but people are giving contracts who don't know anything about the job that they have been given.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, people.
You see, you're
take care of that parameter.
So there's so much malice.
Even I can tell you, because the MDMPA said that in an interview, a running contract with the MPA, the contractor was convicted in a court in Switzerland, and the MPA is waiting for Attorney General to advise them on what to do, whether to cancel that contract or to continue with it, since 2013. And so you have issues like this, where you have man, no man, contracts are awarded to people who they know. And so, why do you think we celebrate public office?
Exactly.
Why do you think
because
people
of the opportunities
who are members of tender boards are celebrated, are so rich? What is their salary? Because there is an opportunity to award contracts.
Okay.
And so the moment you begin to award contract, kickback will come. And then when you are celebrating...
Nobody admits that this part of the story that you're telling us.
That's why the law is going to answer that.
Mazi Okoro for Enaro Chuku, good morning.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Vice, and I guess in the studio. Honestly speaking, Sayori, project abandonment is too common in Nigeria. Look at Aba Ikotekwene Road, Aba Port Harcourt Road, since the end of Civil War. Now you ask yourself, when you go there, you see contractors machines parked there. After some 2 months or 3 months, everything will settle. Now, investigation carried out at Okrafo Global Management Consultant says that contractors are saying when they collect this job, the government officials come to collect 40% of the money from them, and they are left with what, 60%, sometimes 30%, sometimes 70%. Now, you tell me, a contract worth of 100% and you're collecting 30% and 40%, how much is left? And you know that very well that every day, inflationary price we have in Nigeria, price of things continue increasing. And these are the major problems. Honestly speaking, if there's a way to criminalize not only the contract, go to our universities, Suka has the same problem, Futo has the same problem, Uniport has the same problem. If they can make it criminal, when they talk about the criminal, the criminality should be open to everybody. That they tell us the cost of the project and how much is left, how much is. That is why I used to say, to solve this problem, villagers, traditional leaders, youth leaders in any environment should be part and parcel of the contract when they are signing it, so that they will be aware of what is happening, how much they have paid, how much they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to, so that if the job is abandoned, the traditional rulers or the youth will go and complain to the government. A situation where they go and do a job at every headquarters or Abuja or state capital, come back and say they have done this. They show the picture on television. At the end of the day, everything's back to square one. May God save us in this country. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you very much. It's all about accountability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scarce resources is about accounting for
if we want to drive
valuable,
democracy,
scarce resources
if we want
that
to
people are
drive
just chopping
democracy,
anyhow.
we must be serious with this democracy we talk about every day. Okay, you see, that is not only the law that is even required. We need other laws, punitive laws. Okay, that we look at the reaction of people and then the conduct of Nigerians towards issues of project, towards issues of national interests. Okay, this is important because this particular law, if we can have it in place and then the law is able to take care of all the issues within contract, awarding contract and all that, then we are going to have a system where you will see that there will be a speedy flow of project work and all that.
And also, hopefully, it would also increase the what is it now? The qualification.
Yes, for contract award.
Yeah, for contract award.
Jobs will be awarded to those
you
that
don't give me a contract
them.
just because I'm your cousin and you are now in charge, and you have to find something to do for me.
Look at the power project, for example. The power project was awarded to some companies that were not even registered.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the National Assembly that was investigating the matter also compromised in the course of investigation. Nobody was arrested, nobody was prosecuted, and we all forgot.
Indeed. One moment, please. Let me bring in Patrick in Ogudu. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, gentlemen in the studio.
Good morning, Patrick.
There are many scenarios in this thing. Many. It's just not just to one section. But let me paint a scenario as a layman. Uncle Yori, are you there with me?
Where we can hear you.
Uncle Yori, imagine a situation whereby I give you a contract.
I mean, I don't do contracts, so.
Well, I'm painting a scenario, not you. Okay, I give someone a contract, and this contract is worth 10 billion from his own quotation.
Okay.
10 billion, right? Now, public office and civil servants will tell him, they will tell him, put the contract at 60 billion for us to do this contract.
Yes.
So, on paper, I'm collecting 60 billion, but my money in it is 10 billion, and I'm contented with it. But at the end of the day, they have disbursed, they have given me almost 40 billion, and I've not even collected 5 billion to complete my contract that I've taken. And at the end of the day, you will tell me to complete the contract when I've not even collected 8 billion of your money. But on paper, I've taken up to 80% of the money.
Yes, you complete.
So at the end of the day, I abandon the contract.
No.
Because they are trying to cheat on me in as much as I've agreed on what they want.
I think this is an excellent scenario that you're painting. And I think most Nigerians can recognize it.
Yes.
That's the conflict.
But
That's the conflict right there.
Yeah. But let me...
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Let me explain.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Contract award processes. There is a public offer.
Such a murky area, as you were saying.
No. Yeah, but there's a public offer. outside the public offer, there is what they call the solicitation document. The solicitation document spells out what needs to be done, how much is required to do that. The one that you will do, the one that the government will do, the one is spelled out is and was. And then from that solicitation document, you bid. They will do technical evaluation. They will do commercial evaluation. Technical evaluation to check your competence. Commercial evaluation to check the funds you say you have available to do this job.
All of which can be fixed, by the way.
Yes.
In the very unstable environment that we operate.
That is why you have the Bureau of Public Procurement. And so if you fix it at the agency level, you now, after the bids are opened, the lowest reasonable bidder is announced. Yes. And then they go for evaluation.
So there are all these processes. I'm sorry, because we're out of time. There are all these processes that probably are not paid the quality attention to that it requires.
They are waived.
So, well, you see, we've run out of time, but it's been so illuminating, especially for those of us that, you know, we just observe. But people have called in from the field. You know, Patrick just gave us a scenario. Also, you know, Morenike and all those guys. If EFCC was thinking about what is the feedback to this idea, at least they're getting a little bit of it from this program, and what our viewers are saying, that, look, they understand it. Apart from one man who was annoyed and said that lawyers shouldn't be talking about this matter, they don't know anything about it. But
we're breaking it down for him.
Yeah, we're breaking it down. We're breaking it down. I'm sure
pass through law.
We'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on this particular thought from the EFCC and come up with any developments on it. But I want to thank you both, gentlemen, Evans Ufeli and Libros Oshoma, both lawyers, social commentator and public affairs analyst. Thank you, gentlemen. And so that's our program. And just, you know, there's a disclaimer. Nothing that was said on this program is the opinion of TVC News.
There are personal
opinions of our guests. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.